So we have the first speaker, Reha Sharma, who has done extensive work in Bangalore IT for Change, and she's tried out. She's designed, and implemented and evaluated English language programs in government schools, having previously worked with the Department of Education, Bogota in Colombia, and has extensive experience in this whole field. So we look forward to what she can offer to the discussions we have been having in terms of where we go from here in terms of multilingual education, including children with different languages and diversity and so on. So so over to you, Reha. So I'll indicate at the end of 15 minutes that there's 2-3 more minutes left. So if you can take about 20 minutes, we'll have enough time for discussion. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. I am really humbled and honored for the invite, and I'm presenting this study, the findings and learnings from the study, not only on behalf of IT for Change, but also on behalf of RISI, Bangalore. This is a research project that we did, was conducted through 2022 and 2023, and basically findings from the evaluation of KITE's e-language lab program. It was conducted as a collaborative effort between IT for Change and the Regional Institute of English, South India. Now, KITE is Kerala Infrastructure and Technology for Education. As many of you must know, it's a state agency responsible for ICT-enabled education in Kerala schools. And KITE launched the eCube English project. So eCube refers to enjoy, enhance, and enrich, to augment the English language proficiency level of students. So the eCube in itself has 3 components, which is the language lab, the Samagra e-library, and e-broadcast. But all 3 aim to provide personal experiences to each student in terms of listening, speaking, reading, and writing English in an integrated manner. And the focus here is comprehensive interactive digital learning experience and the integrated formative assessment with feedback for the teachers to facilitate English competency for all. Now, what this software looks like, I would say, is it has illustrated stories and activities. The course content is arranged in 4 levels based on students' grade and English proficiency. And each level consists of around 10 stories and some language learning activities, which can be about listening or reading, activities like drag and drop, true or false, matching, choose the appropriate answer, audio recording, video recording, and the likes. And the formative assessment and providing feedback to each learner, it's an integral part of the eCube English digital platform. So after its first year of implementation, we were invited to do an impact assessment study on the same. And we found out that e-language lab particularly is very interesting as it uses a story-based storytelling as a pedagogical approach, which it's particularly powerful. It can create really authentic context for language learning, reduce anxiety in students, and help students connect emotionally with the content while developing critical thinking skills. So very briefly, our impact assessment was structured to provide a comprehensive understanding of the implementation. It was conducted in 3 phases. There was a baseline study in August 2022, midline assessment conducted between December and January 2023, and an endline study in February to March 2023. And each phase was built over the learnings of the previous one, which helped us understand not just the outcomes, but also the evolution of implementation practices at the school level when it comes to a program like this. So we structured our investigation around 4 key questions. First, it was, of course, about examining students' LSRW skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Second, we looked at the implementation status across schools in Kerala, government and aided. And third, we investigated stakeholder perceptions about training and support. And then we sought to identify and document successful integration strategies. So this is a rough mind map of what that looked like. So, in terms of methodology, we had interaction with students, with teachers, with HMs, and also with district coordinators and master trainers. And the sample size at district level, we had student interaction. So, we had 5 e-language lab schools, schools where the language lab was implemented, plus a control school, and like a random sampling of 8 students from class 3, 8 students from class 5, and 8 from 7, and similar interactions like direct interactions and FGDs with teachers and HMs. We also conducted some classroom observation. And for our data analysis framework, we use the OECD 5-point evaluation framework. We'll get to more on that a little bit. It was a quasi experimental design and compare intervention schools with control schools across 3 districts in Kasaragod, Ernakulam, and Kollam. So, all in all, as you can see, the study encompassed over 1,800 interactions across stakeholders, and we used a lot of digitized tools for students' assessments and detailed interviews. All these tools were created in collaboration between ITFC and RISI. And we felt that the approach of triangulation of data sources, combining quantitative assessment data with qualitative insights, it really helped us get a deeper understanding of what is happening. Moving on to the findings, all of these are, of course, available on the KITE website as well as detailed reports. But for example, just as a snapshot, in third standard, the listening comprehension showed remarkable improvement, with some schools seeing an increase from 17 to 75% in students' ability to retain audio discourse details. For fifth standard, reading comprehension demonstrated significant improvements, with some schools even showing up to 100% of improvement in students' reading levels at the end of the program. Similarly, for seventh standard, writing skills showed particularly promising results, with students progressing from basic sentence formation to creating contextually relevant content. And we also noticed that these improvements were most pronounced in schools that were using the e-language lab software at least for one session a week. So these are some broader qualitative findings. The use of audio-video elements, interactive activities, and simulations has seemed to really enhance the learning experience of students, and it also led to an increased interest levels of students when it came to the language lab software, as reported by teachers. Of course, there were some challenges that we identified, which were inadequate existing technology infrastructure in schools or uneven implementation. Now, I think this slide provides like quite an overview of the basic principles for program evaluation. In terms of relevance, definitely eLanguage Lab provided FOSS-based solution to support and supplement language learning, and definitely it has the potential to support inclusive education because it provides visual and auditory support to language learning. In terms of effectiveness, we realized there was quite a smooth flow of information between stakeholders. So, district coordinators would interact with master trainers who would then in turn train teachers and provide any academic or administrative support that's needed. This smooth flow in communication really worked wonders when it came to understanding the objectives and the processes in terms of implementing the e-language lab program. In terms of efficiency, some teachers and schools we realized came up with really innovative ways to counter implementation or technology infrastructure shortage related issues. We also realized that this has really impacted students' language skills level. So, regular implementation with the same group of students, making sure students get that space to interact with the program, engage with it on a regular manner, can really have an impact on their confidence as well as interest levels when it comes to English language learning. And we realized that in order for it to become a sustainable program, there was a need to develop some kind of implementation model. For example, there are different schools. Each school comes with its own set of challenges, its own context in terms of the technological infrastructure available, in terms of the classroom strength, in terms of a lot of these classrooms are multi-level. So to understand all of that better, we felt that maybe if there is a set of guidelines that can help teachers understand that, okay, if this is where my school is, maybe these are the different approaches I could try out. Such a document could really help, or maybe such kind of training could really help implement this program even better. So based on this, we had some recommendations for the kite state functionaries. There were short-term and long-term recommendations. But the ones that stood out the most were the need for strengthening teacher training and conducting a deeper infrastructure assessment before moving on to the next phase of the project, and developing comprehensive guidelines in terms of implementation. So there's complete clarity on what is expected from different stakeholders at different levels and how to tackle challenges that might arise. For the district teams, building professional learning communities was something that really came up, where teachers can work collaboratively and they can share and identify the most effective strategies or best practices, and also review students' progress, share reflections and success and challenges faced. We also recommended planning targeted school visits and creating forums for teachers. Then for schools and teachers, incorporating e-language lab into regular academic planning, because we did realize schools that implemented the e-language lab software, or they used the software in a more regular manner, there we were able to see more results, like better results from students. Making judicious use of existing infrastructure. We noticed that in several schools, although the systems were there, they needed a little bit of updation. And the mechanism and all is already in place. You can contact the master trainers or district coordinators and have the setup or have the updation and everything sorted. So just making sure that that process happens very smoothly. And also supporting collaborative resource creation. So a lot of the teachers mentioned that they would be really keen on recording their own stories and putting them up on e-language lab, and also some stories by students, perhaps maybe perhaps local stories or cultural stories from Kerala, different districts in Kerala. Now, here is where we really wanted to pay a little bit of attention. We realized that this study offered really valuable insights beyond just program evaluation. At IT for Change, we have developed implementation models for various contexts, which we are now adapting for our work in Karnataka as well. So these models consider varying levels of technological infrastructure, class sizes, and other contextual factors to make such a program, such a project relevant across different settings. Also, our own experience with storytelling-based pedagogy strongly aligns with EQ Lab's approach, and also Krashen's hypothesis about language acquisition, particularly regarding comprehensible input and the effective filter. We have seen similar positive results in our audio story-based learning initiatives, which we are currently conducting with the department, the State Department of Education, where we're using audio stories to help improve children's interest levels and proficiency in the language, in English language. The key learning across our work has been meaningful technology integration, which adheres to the TPCK framework, or Technological, Pedagogical, and Content Knowledge Framework, which we feel is very key when it comes to making sure that any technology that is used is in line with the school context and also in line with student needs, as well as what the teacher is able to do in the classroom, and is sensitive to the local context. And the study has reinforced our understanding of how digital tools can enhance rather than replace effective pedagogical practices. We also feel that these insights contribute to the broader discourse on digital integration in education. And research studies like these are crucial because they help us understand not just whether a program works, but how and why it works in specific contexts. And this kind of deep systematic analysis enables us to develop evidence-based implementation models that can be adapted across different settings while remaining sensitive to local needs. So by documenting both successes and challenges, we can create a very valuable knowledge resource that can inform policy decisions and help us design better implementation strategies for similar initiatives across India. And we also feel that this collaborative learning approach, where we work with KITE and with RISI, it definitely helps build stronger educational programs across states. We all learn from each other. And Kerala's experience with the Language Lab has offered valuable lessons for similar initiatives elsewhere. I think that is the highlight of my presentation, the key points from my presentation. In case anyone wants to read about this entire presentation in detail, I would be happy to share it with you. It's also available on the KITE e-Language Lab website. All three baseline, midline, and endline reports are available on the website. And with that, I would request you, please take down any questions that you might have. I'll be very happy to respond to them at the end of all the presentations.